Testing, testing. Oh, was that it? Was that it? Can people hear me now? Probably twice. Hold on. Testing, testing. Do people hear me now? Somebody? Anybody? Are you still nothing? How? It's telling me there's audio. Okay. Sorry, everybody.
No.
All right. Well, thank you. You know, webinars don't really get started until a few minutes in anyway, right? So that gave everybody a few minutes to join. With an echo. Okay, there should be no echo now. Do people still hear an echo? Okay, you're good. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your patience. I thought I'd have to kill some, I'm a little too loud now. I thought I would have to kill some time before starting the webinar, but the luck of technology did that for me. Great. Thanks to everybody for their patience. You can see all the comments on the screen. So we're going to jump in. Thank you for joining me for episode 270. I'm Debbie Levitt, and we're going to be talking about AI and AI agents and whether or not AI is likely to bring a resurgence or renaissance in UX work and jobs. So, thanks for everybody putting up with the technical difficulties there. So hopefully that's my one bad luck moment. You can see the comments are coming up on the screen, and so if you have a comment, it is public, your name will be on it. If you want to say something anonymously or ask anonymously, at the top of the screen, we're going to keep the whole time here a menti.com Q&A. So you can go to menti.com, menti.com, and put in 8837-1155. What I'm going to do is I have about an hour of slides that I want to get through, and then I'm going to look back and take all of your comments and questions. So if you are putting up comments and questions, I might not get to them until I'm done with my slides. I want to make sure I get through all of my slides. Quick note, I've been writing these for months. I've been updating these for months, and I have 30 slides you're not going to see. You're just going to see the 38 slides that I've kept, which I hope to get through in an hour, and then I'll stay as long as we need for your questions. And all questions are welcome. Questions where you disagree with me or you want to challenge me, so this is not the Please Agree with Debbie Club. As usual, I have my effects ready to go, but I didn't have my sound ready to go. I don't know how I did that. I'm so nervous about today, but kind of excited. So let's get to the slides. And I will be covered up by the comments because the slides are more important. The slides have a lot of words on them because I want to make sure that anybody who watches this later can see some of the key points. So I apologize for some of my wordy slides, but today that is by design. Okay, so hopefully my slides are changing today. I've been practicing this. I can't believe I messed it up anyway. Hi, in case you don't know me, I'm Debbie Levitt. My company is called Delta CX, and I've been a CX and UX strategist, researcher, designer, helping people with product and service strategy and building UX teams for, let's just say, decades. I still do this stuff, though some of us have noticed it's getting a little bit harder to find work in these areas. But obviously, if there's anything that I or my company can do for you, hey, deltacx.com. And we've also got a community. Most of my community stuff is completely free. So free Discord, free Patreon, free Medium articles, free LinkedIn posts if LinkedIn will ever show them to you. It costs you nothing if you would like to be part of what I like to call the low ego action heroes and also the phoenixes for those of us changing jobs. You'll also see a little camera icon coming up. I do that for when I do live events and people want to take a picture of a slide or a screenshot of a slide, and they don't know when the slide is done animating, when I'm done adding stuff to it. So when you see the little camera on the bottom, I am done adding stuff to that slide, but probably not done talking. So this presentation focuses on UX and UX jobs, but many of the same things I'm going to say today can be said for other tech roles. Developers, QA, engineers, data scientists and analysts, IT professionals, web developers, business analysts, product managers, product owners, agile coaches, scrum masters, and others are in a similar situation. And this presentation is really the battle between my predictions and other people's predictions. I'll be showing and discussing what I'm seeing on LinkedIn and in articles about whether or not AI will cause UX jobs to evolve, grow, shrink, explode, be reborn, or something else. The internet is full of people telling you to not believe the hype or don't believe the clickbait that says AI will take some or all of your jobs. And we press like on that because we want to believe it. We want to have hope, and we want to hope that we have long and well-paid careers ahead of us. But if our jobs are coming back and our careers are getting stronger, then that's our reality, and there won't be much that you need to do to prepare for the continuation of your career. You can do nothing because it's getting better, or it'll get better soon. You don't need to buy a course on how to prepare for the logical continuation of the career you already have. But I'm here to challenge all of us with the question, what if it's not getting better? And what if it doesn't get better soon or at all? Are we prepared for those outcomes? I have a lot to say about this. It was easy to find a lot of evidence that ignored predictions and hope and landed squarely on how the past and present show a clear short-term and long-term likely future. I'm not here to ask the question, should companies hire more UX people? Or should companies have UX specialists working on researching and designing AI? Because those answers are always yes. They should. I value UX. I stand for UX. Everything I've done is and has been to preserve our jobs and our specialties. I don't believe UX is dead. There will always be user experiences whether or not companies invest in making them good. There will always be user experiences whether those are worked on by specialists, non-specialists, or AI. UX isn't dead and can't die, but it can suffer greatly when companies don't care about quality. My question today is, do I believe that AI will cause a resurgence in UX jobs and work? It should, and we hope it would, but will it? I wish I could guarantee all of us endless work until retirement, but I don't think it'll happen. I want to have hope too, but let's look at evidence and realities, and then let's take action. AI is designed to replace your cognitive abilities. Many promoting the AI won't take your job narrative use historical comparisons like the typewriter, arguing that new technologies create more jobs than they eliminate. These types of comparisons fundamentally misunderstand the difference between mechanical and cognitive automation. Typewriters automated the mechanical aspects of writing, but you still needed a human and their cognitive abilities to have composed the text. AI tools are specifically designed to replace cognitive work, the thinking, designing, and decision-making previously exclusive to humans. Better historical analogies would include automated telephone switching, which eliminated switchboard operators, ATMs, which significantly reduced the need for bank tellers, or factory automation and robots doing assembly line work, which reduced human factory and assembly line workers. Cameo Duran's image reminds us how quickly a human helicopter pilot and a human camera person were replaced by a camera attached to a drone. The camera person's job might have evolved, but we don't need the helicopter or a pilot anymore for this task. AI's goal is to replace human skills, wisdom, intelligence, and critical thinking. In fact, you use it now for some of that. You ask it to do human-style tasks for you now, inside and outside of your job. You want it to research, write, edit, create art, explain things, teach you concepts, and more. You are using it to replace what you or another human would do, using skill, time, wisdom, intelligence, and critical thinking. This LinkedIn comment I noticed from Hong Xu reminds us of the false historical comparisons. Squarespace, WordPress, Drupal were all designed to assist humans, not replace them. Hung points out that Quote, "The key difference is that employers see AI as a reason or opportunity to reduce headcount." And boom, that's the main point. AI is being designed to replace humans. It's deployed and implemented to replace your work and eventually you. Let me say that again. Companies claim AI is there to make you faster, but the final goal of using AI in tech jobs is not to automate manual tasks or make humans faster. That's just a stop toward the destination. It's the Trojan horse to get you to use it and to let it train on what you do and how you do it. The goal is to replace human skills, wisdom, intelligence, and critical thinking. Last week, I asked Claude to estimate what percentage of people use Claude to replace their own thinking. Claude answered, quote, "Based on the patterns I see, I'd estimate that 70 to 80% of people are using me to replace their thinking rather than augment it. The vast majority of interactions I have follow patterns like, write this for me, give me the answer, solve this problem, create a strategy, plan, or analysis." End quote. It's hard to say that AI can't do your work when so many of us use AI to do our work. But more importantly, we have it do our thinking for us. We ask it to think for us. We can laugh and complain when it gets something wrong or hallucinates, and then we probably go right back and ask it to do more thinking for us. Most of us use AI to think for us. It's designed for that, and it's constantly fine-tuned and trained to be increasingly better at human-style cognition. Now that you're thinking more about how AI is replacing human cognition and the skills related to thinking, let's feast on another one. This one says, "Tech Panic Myth Tracker," and I want to read these out loud. The hype. Home video will kill cinemas. It says the reality is that cinemas evolved into experience hubs. Said no one ever. The hype. Email will replace the post office. The reality. Letters declined, but parcel delivery exploded. The hype. The internet will replace retail. The reality. E-commerce grew, but physical stores adapted. The hype. Computers will make offices paperless. The reality. Paper use spiked for 20 years before declining. The hype. Streaming will kill TV. The reality. TV networks became streamers, cable declined, content surged. And now they're saying AI will replace employees is hype and a myth. But remember, these previous panics, which weren't really panics, were about one distribution channel replacing another. They shifted where and how that work happened. But these are all still declines. People lost jobs, companies went out of business, stock prices tanked. Everything marked hype here is partially true. Home video hurt cinemas. Cable TV, YouTube, Twitch, and streaming hurt cinemas. The American postal system isn't doing very well. Over $9 billion lost in 2024, and $98 billion of losses in the last 23 years. The internet has replaced a lot of retail. Ask all of the mom and pop shops out there, as well as the chain stores that went out of business because people were shopping and buying online. I never expected paper to completely go away, though paper production and sales are down nearly 40% in the last 15 to 20 years. Streaming will kill TV. Why pay for it when you can watch it on YouTube or another paid streaming service? We still have TVs, but fewer of us get cable TV subscriptions. American cable TV subscriptions are down around 35% since 2010. They're not myths, hypes, or panics. They were huge concerns at the time, and we now have the hindsight to see the consequences in the economy and job markets they affected. Check out this guy who got over 1,000 likes on this post. He's been training an AI engineer for 6 months, and it's starting to do junior level work. Sure, humans and senior level people could do it faster, but holy cats, you trained an AI to do junior work. The hype is loud. The results are quiet. Don't fall for the noise. Says the guy who admits that he's going to invest more in this AI agent because it has long-term potential. What is his point? What is the hype? What's the fantasy? What's the noise? I can't even tell. I think he is the hype. I think he is the noise. Did AI write this? This is all over the place. Plus, it has typical like bait phrasing like kill the fantasy, the hype is loud, and don't fall for the noise. Yet in 6 months, this guy's team trained a robot to do junior developer work. My mind is blown by that. That's not hype or noise, and it's not hype, noise, or a fantasy to him because he plans to keep investing in training his AI engineer. He clearly sees the ROI of this. Ooh, I've got words missing here. Oh, that's weird. Sorry, they'll come up. I was inspired to write this webinar when I saw Jared Spool had a conference talk called How AI Will Drive a Resurgence in UX. I wanted to offer a counterpoint and dose of critical thinking in response to what he's out there saying. I challenge you to step out of what you hope will happen and consider what is already happening and what is likely to happen in the short and long term. Some of my slides are about Jared Spool directly, but many are just about general sentiments around AI leading to UX being needed more than ever. Someone told me a few days ago that adding AI to their work saved their life, and they were sure it would save mine too. This is starting to sound like a religion. No matter who says it, these claims are typically a combination of hope bait and gaslighting. Usually that you'll cause your own layoff and you're an unhirable Luddite dinosaur if you're not learning and using more AI. And a good cult leader knows they can win people over by telling them how important and special they are. You feel seen and needed. Yes, you got into UX to make a difference, and this guy is telling you that you will be the one to make that difference. You will do important work that companies really demand. You want to hear more of that. Who can blame you? So you follow that guy, click like on his stuff, and buy his courses. You've probably seen LinkedIn posts, conference talks, and articles claiming that while AI might disrupt some aspects of our field, it will ultimately elevate UX to new strategic importance. Claims that UX will have a resurgence because they will need us to strategize, work on, or fix AI. We will keep our jobs. Heck, they might start heavily hiring UX positions. Because AI will struggle or fail and they'll need UX pros. I've seen these from Jared Spool, and I'm seeing others echo similar claims on LinkedIn and in online articles. So let's use our critical thinking and go through this in detail. I'm sure you've heard of variations of these claims. AI will create messes that only UX professionals can clean up. The implementation of AI will finally elevate UX to strategic importance. AI will free us from mundane tasks so that we can focus on higher level problems. UX jobs won't disappear, they'll simply evolve like jobs always have with technology. If you're strategic and use critical thinking, you're irreplaceable. These sound reassuring, don't they? But are they true now or likely to come true relatively soon? Notice that we don't hear the leadership, especially product leadership, at our company declaring that UX is needed to design or fix AI. Nor do you hear them saying that we need UX workers freed up to do higher level or more strategic work. They will want UX to check, critique, or fix work done by AI. Do they? Are we seeing that now? Or if it's fast and good enough, might it move forward or ship without UX's review? While I take a drink, everybody write something in the comments. Can you still hear me? Am I still live? Just want to check my stream's going okay. It looks okay from here, but I want to make sure I sound good and you don't have any background noise or anything. Cherish says yes, then I believe it. Okay, thanks, Liz. Okay, moving on. We also hear claims that AI taking over some of our work will free us up to focus on higher level or more strategic work, as if we were doing unimportant work before. What is this high level work UX professionals will supposedly be freed up to do? The descriptions are usually vague. Strategic thinking and vision, without specifying what any of that would look like. Saluta. Making strategic decisions that companies often give to other roles like product leadership. Creative problem solving without concrete examples. Human-centered tasks that are currently undervalued. The cruel irony is that many companies aren't demonstrating increased investment in these high-level activities, and where they are, that's not UX's job. We're rarely given the role, power, or autonomy to be strategic. Sometimes even our UX leadership are left out of strategic conversations and decisions. Also, this doesn't scale. Is there high-level strategic work for all of us? Leaders won't just give us more AI stuff to prompt and correct. We're suddenly all leaders and innovators, and companies will want to pay for all of us to stay? If a company has 20 UX designers and they now use AI for a lot of their design work, what high-level work would those designers do? Would the company keep paying 20 salaries if some or most of the work can be done by prompting AI, or someone else can prompt the AI? I don't believe that we will all be amplified by AI taking over our supposedly lower level tasks. I think it's the Trojan horse that will teach companies that our work can be done by robots. And very often, the lower level tasks we're supposedly giving up to AI are usually key tasks from our job description. That's what the company wanted us to do. Now, can a robot do some or all of it? Why would that amplify us? Or make companies think that we are high-level strategic thinkers who need to be immediately empowered to spend all day innovating? In Spool's presentation, he says that AI hallucinates too much, and AI is saving very little money for enterprises. An AI expert who attended his course preview reported this to me. But even in his course description, Spool says, quote, "The world romanticizes AI as an all-powerful, game-changing, sci-fi-like technology, when, in reality, it barely works." End quote. AI is a game-changing, sci-fi-like technology. I sometimes think about how Debbie at age 12 would have her mind blown by the conversations Debbie at age 53 is having with Claude. And a lot of AI works very well. We'd all stop using it if it barely worked. As usual, Spool is out of touch with reality. And he also says, reality is about to set in, and the disappointment will be profound. Based on what evidence? Do companies appear to be disappointed by AI? What reality hasn't set in? When is this reality coming? If Spool's claims were true, then what would UX do? We can't fix AI hallucinating, nor can we improve the ROI of AI tools or features. Whether AI hallucinates or not doesn't matter if companies tolerate the imperfections. Have you noticed companies you've worked for happily tolerating product and service imperfections? Yeah, right? Whether AI saves money or not doesn't guarantee that UX will be more valued. The economic decision isn't, does AI work perfectly, but is AI good enough compared to the cost of hiring humans? Can you imagine someone in June 2025 saying that AI barely works? But he has to tell you that. If you believe that, then you'll believe that you and your work are highly important towards making sure that all of this works well. He should lose most of you, he being Spool. Spool should lose most of you when he says AI barely works, and you know that's not true. But without critical thinking, we might forget how much we lean on AI and how, even though it's certainly imperfect and still evolving, it does many things fairly well. The screenshot I have up now is a post from mid-June 2025 on LinkedIn from Ricky T. And she says, quote, red alarm emoji. 1 month ago, I had a conversation with Jared Spool in which he told me plainly AI is a scam. He dismissed me, as he has during all 5 times our paths have crossed in my 15 years in UX, and he said, quote, I'm afraid I don't know much about AI. It's not a topic that I'm interested in, end quote. When I shared my article about UX and AI, a piece I poured my heart into, he challenged its value, arguing that AI is overhyped and misleading our field into believing it can do more than it actually can. He claimed AI fails at most real-world production tasks and that we're already seeing the best it has to offer. Fast forward to today, he's now promoting and teaching AI. Red alarm emoji. End quote from Ricky. Spool is Janus, the two-faced Roman god, but without being Roman or a god. I've seen him support opposite things at the same time, whatever makes him money. Spool is charismatic, and to some, he's famous, maybe even a god. But we need to keep our critical thinking going. Don't be fooled by someone's charisma or fame. Do you want to take an AI course from this guy? The guy who says that we've seen the best that AI can do and it will never be any better? Despite how much better it's clearly getting every few months. A year ago, we laughed at all the AI images of people with 8 fingers and arms coming out of their head. It sure has moved forward quickly from that. And quickly, I think I have another slide on this. So I wanted to say quickly, I appreciate Ricky calling him out, but I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff Ricky says, and I think I have this on another slide coming up, so I'm going to keep going. But I'm seeing a pattern in Spool's stuff, and I wonder if some of you do too. Even those of you who might be fans of his, I wonder if you're noticing a pattern. In 2022, Spool was pushing a workshop on increasing the UX skills of your agile teams. He wanted us to teach engineers to do our work, UX work, so that we can be freed up to do higher level work, focus on harder to solve problems. Sounds familiar, right? It's the same old pitch. If you do this, you will be strategic, more high level, and you can give someone else the grunt work. As if UX work is grunt work we can give away, and as if agile teams have the time and desire to become good at it. It's the you are special message. You are so special that you shouldn't have to do the grunt work in your job description. I never wanted to give anybody my UX work. Certainly nobody outside of the UX department, but that's probably a separate webinar that I think I've already done. I'm not surprised to see Spool back with another pitch claiming that you will be so important and so much more high level and strategic in the age of AI. Now Spool wants to sell you a course called UX and Design in an AI World, Strategic Fundamentals. Thing one, I don't think of him as an AI expert. I think he's coming in late and jumping on the bandwagon because it gets him clicks and attendees. Thing two, what could he possibly tell you that you don't already know? Learn AI tools? Use AI? Get better at prompting AI? I'm not sure he can tell you something you don't already know. It's disaster capitalism designed to exploit you, your situation, and fears. And let's not forget that this is the same guy who has an article on his own website called Why I Can't Convince Executives to Invest in UX and Neither Can You. Does this sound like executives will soon see the value of UX and make them want to budget more for us or make us more strategic? What's wrong with Spool that he's unable to convince executives of the value of UX? UX has tremendous value. Why can't he successfully explain that? Or is it because he's making too much money telling execs that everybody's a designer and just have the agile teams do some good enough UX? Look, I don't like him. I don't trust him. He doesn't like me. And that's fine. But I think he will push any message that he thinks will make him money, win him likes, and make him seem relevant. I think he wants to be at the top of, I think he wants to be on the first page of Maven. You can draw your own conclusions. Use your own critical thinking, but watch him carefully. Notice his past and current messages and follow the money. Yeah, this is where I have that clip from Ricky. So again, I appreciate Ricky calling out Spool, but since she stirred up some of her own controversy in the past days, I also want to mention I don't seem to agree with her that much. For example, here's a screenshot from Ricky's post on LinkedIn from a few days ago where she says that we hear very often, she says something that we hear very often on LinkedIn from various people around the world. It's certainly not just her. I'm not just pointing at her. Lots of people say this. And they say that if you ignore AI and you don't learn about it, you will lose your job. I think I cut 10 slides from different people saying that. You'll also hear that you have two choices: learn AI tools or be replaced, as if those are the only choices. And you'll also hear that you can save your job if you develop more agency, whatever that means, improve your judgment, whatever that means, be more persuasive, I guess talk people out of laying you off, and show more empathy and emotional intelligence, as if our managers were measuring these and showing more will save our jobs. Plus, AI is rapidly expanding its capabilities related to emulating human thinking. Current LLMs can certainly pass Turing tests, and they're aggressively being worked on constantly. The whole goal is to replace people. We can cut costs by 40% using AI, but let's keep the full design team because they're really empathetic, said no one ever. Hopefully in both my slides before this one and after this one, you'll see why I believe that AI is coming for our jobs in the short and long term, whether or not we learn AI, whether or not we are curious about it, and whether or not we use it heavily in our workflows. You can learn AI tools and still be replaced. You can be a respected top AI expert and be laid off. The problem isn't you. If you lose your job to AI, it won't be because someone at your company decided you weren't curious enough about it. We must be careful about this type of gaslighting. Remember that the more random people can make you believe that you are the problem, you caused the problem, or you can fix the problem, the more that they can, 1, sell you something, and 2, avoid pointing fingers at what's really going on, which is what we're covering today. You didn't break this, and you might not be able to fix it. The problem isn't you. The problem might be outside of your control. Spool is one of the many people pushing stories that AI is hype, a scam, inadequate, but the world will need UX practitioners to fix it. Greg Noodleman published an article on Medium called AI is Flipping UX Upside Down, How to Keep Your UX Job and Why Figma is a Titanic. It's Not for the Reasons You Think. That was a long title. Noodleman claims that Figma and being pixel-focused will be the Titanic that sinks all of us. He says that UX designers must create specialized designs for AI agents. He also says that UI and visual design don't matter for AI interfaces. So then, are we designing for these things or it doesn't matter? He even points out in the article that, quote, we are now entering the era where we are talking with these machines as we would with fellow humans, end quote. Okay, so then other than conversational design and content strategy, where does he think UX fits in? Who cares? He hopes you buy his book. It looks like this article wants you to fear irrelevance, the usual gaslighting. He claims AI agents are already here, but UX needs to catch up, as if we're endlessly empowered, but we stand in our own way. You'd think by now we'd have all learned how to stop killing our own careers. It's magically always us, because if the problem were outside of us, we wouldn't need people's books and courses about changing what we're doing. Noodleman says you will need new skills and you will need to prove your expertise in them to stay relevant. His article suggests these skills: use case selection and validation for AI applications, AI models spiking and rapid lean right research, running digital twin workshops with data scientists, understanding data flows in AI systems, creating value matrices of AI decisions, leading customer discussions about solving problems with AI, finding and evaluating proprietary data sources, and identifying and mitigating bias in data. Is that our job? Does anybody want UX to do that? Did you see that in your job description? All of these are parts of jobs that already exist, but nearly all of them aren't UX work. It sounds like Noodleman wants UX to land grab data science, especially around AI modeling, and some engineering. Noodleman says that UI design will be 5% of your work. Well, if we stop doing our own jobs and start doing other people's jobs, sure, our old job might be 5% of our work. And then his article says, do you notice how far down the list this 5% is? Well, sure, you made that up. You made up the list. You put it low and last. You made up 5%, and now he wants you to believe that this is just fact. But let's say that it is fact. If so, there won't be a resurgence for UX. UX will become 5% UX design, and everybody's job will be some flavor of data science with mild customer involvement. And let's imagine that you spend the time and money upskilling on some or all of these skills. Will companies hire the newbie career transitioner, or do they want years of experience and a proven track record? Why hire you to do these things when they can hire a way more qualified person who didn't run out and learn this after an April 2025 article? Noodleman wrote another article on Medium called Secrets of Agentic UX, Emerging Design Patterns for Human Interaction with AI Agents. Why do people still name things with secrets in the title? Does anybody really believe that this article discloses unknown secrets? But rather than UX professionals fixing AI, this article describes a world where, quote, agents learn, quickly becoming experts in whatever systems they work with, end quote. The article explicitly warns that this will create a massive power shift in the workplace where AI agents become, quote, the adult in the room with more access and more experience than most humans, end quote. Got that? Greg says AI will be the smartest and most experienced adult in the room. You're in that room and you're included. Tobias von Schneider posted to LinkedIn in May 2025 that he predicts that the future will include a big market for teaching fundamental design principles again. We saw Don Norman try to create committees to fix UX education. He tried for years and then he gave up. And I've watched universities that I respect undo their good human-centered design programs to change them into how to do design thinking. Now, Tobias could be going for hope bait. He posts what you wish is true. You press like, you feel hopeful that everything will turn around, but let's imagine he's serious. What would have to change for him to be right? Everything. Executives would have to really understand human-centered design and our specialized work. They would want us with that specialized education to come and do the work versus sending a product or project manager for a half-day course. John Allen posted this one to LinkedIn in May 2025, offering the false comparison to the Industrial Revolution, saying the work never shrinks, it just changes. Really? And he says a new need is rising and that our work will be more about checking and correcting AI efficiencies over crafting the work ourselves. This essentially would mean that AI does the primary creative and design work. We are the quality control or editors who check and correct. But has John considered that QA and editing and checking roles tend to be lower paid and often automated? And if AI agents are learning, can't they correct themselves? Is this inspiring? Is this good news? Is this the job you hope to have? Is this what Spool thinks is a resurgence? I don't know. Without naming names, I want to tell you the story of the closing speaker at the 2025 Convey UX conference. I was there in person as a guy who has his own AI company did a long slide deck about his company's AI projects and how great his company is. It seemed to be his pitch deck, like what he shows potential clients when he's hoping they'll be impressed and hire him. But his topic claimed to be about how UX will be really needed in the next wave of AI. In the rare moments that he mentioned UX during his talk, he called it UI UX, and he was obviously reading from his notes. His tone changed, and instead of being animated about how great he was clearly reading his cue cards about how AI will really need UI UX designers to create AI agents. I found him completely not believable. Maybe he has a decent AI company, but I could smell something was off. He had no content or stories about how great it's been to work with UX people. You'd think that's what his talk is about, right? You can't imagine a conference would bring in a guy to talk about the future of UX designing AI without checking that he's actually worked with UX people, right? And yet, zero stories or examples of great UX research or design at his AI company. He just read us his pitch deck, which had lots of stories about his AI projects and how great he is. When the audience questions started, people asked normal questions like, is AI safe? And what about elderly people using AI? I realized, wow, nobody's going to challenge him. I have to do this. This is my brand. These are my values. I'm going to say it. I got the microphone and I set him up for a long fall. I haven't watched the recording back, but I said something like, thank you for telling us about your company. It looks like you're doing a lot of great work with AI agents. You're here talking to a room full of hundreds of UX researchers and designers. Your message has been that we will be needed to design AI agents. Thinking about any of the many projects you've been doing, how many researchers or designers have you worked with? Anybody want to guess how many he has worked with? I could barely finish my question when he said, 0, we're a tech company. I blacked out and I remembered nothing else he said. I only remember all the people who turned and looked at me, mouthing swear words or thanking me for asking the question. When he finished talking, I took my backpack and walked out of the room, even though he was still taking questions. This guy was probably paid very well to fly in and tell everybody that AI agents need them. But he doesn't work with any of us. 0. He's a tech company and he has no use for researchers or designers. He was paid to tell the audience what they wanted to hear, even though he doesn't live it. He sold the audience something they wanted to hear. After the talk, some people thanked me for what I said, but some posted on LinkedIn that they loved his talk and they were so excited about the future of designing AI agents. We were all in the same room at the same time, but we heard very different things. Some of us heard the bullshit. Some of us only heard the hope and ignored that this guy hasn't hired a single one of us and doesn't plan to. He's not our advocate. He's not advocating for design. He doesn't hire any of us, and his clients are learning that AI and AI agents can be built without a single researcher or designer. So what's really going on? Let's look at what's happening in the market. Companies aren't desperately hiring UX professionals to clean up AI messes. We're being laid off. Organizations like Microsoft aren't following their own AI guidelines, and companies are eliminating ethics teams that would raise concerns about AI experiences. AI-first strategies aren't necessarily customer-first or user-centric, and many are noticing that where there are UX jobs, salaries appear to be decreasing. Some companies lay off knowledgeable and talented staff to hire someone who'll take less money or fewer benefits. Doesn't sound like we're winning. But here's a question we need to ask ourselves. If a company didn't value UX enough to invest in it before implementing AI, why would they suddenly value UX now? So many companies are announcing AI first, and they're showing a remarkable tolerance for AI imperfections. AI will crash the plane again and again, and we'll just apologize and promise that the next version will be better. But what we're not seeing is a widespread pattern of companies saying, we need to hire more UX professionals to fix our AI problems. I like and respect Augie Ray a lot. His LinkedIn posts are great, and here he lists multiple articles announcing layoffs due to AI replacing human employees. AI does create some jobs, but overall, it's designed to eliminate jobs. It's hard to look at the headlines, all the open to work banners on LinkedIn, and general reality, and truly believe that AI brings a resurgence of work or job opportunities for any of us, at least not in the long term. And it's hard to believe that we will be newly appreciated, respected, and given more strategic work. Why spend more money on expensive UX salaries and asking consultants or experts to work on something when you can just get insurance? That's right, you can now get AI insurance. I haven't heard of this company, but they're called Armilla, and they are a cover holder at Lloyd's of London. They offer comprehensive AI liability coverage against performance shortfalls, legal exposures, and financial risks associated with adopting AI at scale. That's what the website says. Insurance will allow companies to pay people off when AI crashes the plane and then continue with business as usual. They might not significantly invest in improvements. They might just apologize and promise it'll be better in the future. In May 2025, an article on Fortune examined how AI agents are good enough to inspire companies to reduce the number of internships and junior jobs. They interviewed the CEO of an AI company who basically said, you don't need the smartest people. Some of us saw an article from Jacob Nielsen who said, you don't need the best UX designers, average ones should be fine. Smart people cost money. And Noodleman reminds us that AI will be the smartest person in the room. When the repeated message appears to be that AI is smarter than people and a better choice for doing the task, we should not imagine or predict that there is a solid work future for intelligent people wanting to do strategic work. Then, of course, we've got April 2025, the leaked internal communication from the Shopify CEO who said, before asking for more headcount and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI. Fortune magazine described this policy as Shopify's CEO just said the quiet part out loud. AI will replace new hiring. Other CEOs just won't admit it. This doesn't sound like a world in which companies are increasing their appetite for well-educated specialists. Let's talk about Miro. Miro's got something called AI Sidekicks, and they say, get an extra pair of eyes with AI Sidekicks. Need insights from a marketer? We've got you. We partnered with the Product Marketing Alliance, so you'll have a sidekick that's powered by a community of 50,000 product marketing experts. Fine-tune your launch strategies and messaging with instant feedback and easily move past roadblocks. I wonder if those 50,000 product marketing experts know that this AI was trained on their community posts. The webpage promoting Miro's sidekicks used to say the same thing about agile coaches and product leaders, but that wasn't there last time I looked. Also remember that there are other Miro AI features that do design and UX and UI and flowcharts. Miro is one of our Trojan horses. You're sold on the idea of using it because you're going to be better and faster. You're going to be more confident. You're going to do better work thanks to AI assisting you. But few people seem to notice that the assistant is mostly doing the work. AI is really doing the work. We're babysitting it or double checking it if we have time. And so we have to think about how this has been a Trojan horse. We're being told, bring AI into our work. The AI can then train on how we do our work. The AI agents are learning how to do our work better. This should be obvious by now. This is where this is going. So just a reminder that consider all of the messages telling us that adopting AI, using more AI, and bringing AI into our work will help us keep our jobs and make us important. I know we started a little late. I still have a few more slides. Oh, wait, there was something I wanted to say on the last slide. Let me just check my notes. Oh, no, I said it. Sorry. I also want to mention quickly an article I have on Medium, which you can easily Google. It's called A Democratized Job is Easy for AI to Take. And it's my article from April 2024. So this isn't new. I'm here in June 2025. And I talked about how the more we lower our standards and the more we democratize and say anybody can do UX work, or anybody can do product management work, or anybody can code, the more that we did that with humans, the easier it is for then AI to do that work, because we've lowered our standards to allow anybody to do that work. Check out that article. Even when we're not using AI, we've had years of low-code and no-code tools giving companies reasons to ignore and circumvent designers. I'm coaching a designer who used to be pretty admired at to allow a workable prototype, or I could engage with the AI and say, change this, move this here, write something different over here, and it'll do it. Because these things can code. Replit and others seem to be based on Claude Sonnet and Claude Opus. Claude Opus known for its new coding abilities. So should they hire humans and let us do what we're best at? Yeah. I wish that we were still designing and prototyping, and I'll always believe that designers and qualified UX people should be involved. But AI is getting good at our tactical work. AI did this from a sentence. I didn't give it any wireframes. I didn't give it any brand guidelines. AI made that. It's not terrible. We could bring it to usability testing. We could bring it to concept testing. We could learn from it. The smoke is rising and the future's getting clearer. The job market provides the clearest evidence against the resurgence narrative. Over 500,000 people have been laid off since 2022, with layoffs still coming, and concerns about AI ethics, with ethics teams being eliminated. So many of us struggling to find work. Emojis up if you are someone who is looking for work, because I certainly am, so I will give you the fire emoji here. Fire and phoenixes for those of you looking for a job. Put them in the chat, please. And also, remember when we were all told we had to go learn to be a prompt engineer? Now it doesn't even exist. There's just 142 jobs on LinkedIn looking for prompt engineer. But people are finding reasons to not believe what seems to be the future coming in the next handful of years. But I know someone working in UX on AI. Sure, it exists, but it's still relatively rare. We also don't know if that person is strategic. We don't know if they're truly affecting the direction of the AI or just taking orders from product managers. But Klarna rehired people after their AI wasn't good enough. But that was customer support and chatbots. Is the stream not running? Someone said the stream's not running. Can people see me right now? I'm just going to take a break and check. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Give me a moment to try to see if we're streaming. I had to refresh. Okay. So sorry about that. I must have had an internet blip. I still don't have internet. Okay, someone says Twitch went down. It came back up. Okay, looks like YouTube is still streaming. Hopefully LinkedIn sees me. Okay, thanks. I always want to check that people can see what's going on. I don't want to be... Yes, I'm still here. Great. Thank you, Dewey. Yeah, I blipped. Yeah, we haven't had internet in 2 months, and I'm on my phone hotspot. So thanks to phone hotspot and for your patience. So as I was saying, some people get all excited. Oh, Klarna's going to rehire people. Oh, but that was customer support and that was a chatbot. It's still very different. And let's not pretend that Klarna isn't behind the scenes still trying to make a better chatbot. I can't imagine people are giving up on AI tools or AI bots or AI human replacements just because they had some failure. And then we also hear, oh, but I got an interview. I'm in UX and I found a job. It doesn't mean the market is improving. It doesn't mean the job pays well. And it doesn't mean we won't get laid off. I'm sorry. So let's wrap up with a few more slides and then I'll check the Menti, menti.com 88371155 to see what questions, comments, and challenges you have. So, reality check. AI is transforming UX, but not necessarily enhancing its value. Facing reality is better than false hope. Hope feels good, but we don't want to ignore reality. Our careers, finances, and too often our mental health are at stake. Look at hiring signals. Look at your experiences and your community's experiences, not just hope bait or rage bait in articles. The reality that you see and live is more accurate and real than anything someone is trying to convince you to believe so you buy their stuff. And accountability. If you find people or thought leaders selling false narratives, bad advice, and predictions you realize later were wrong, maybe stop listening to them. Unfollow. Maybe block them. Don't press like or share. Don't comment. Walk away from the pitches and the game. All of the claims and predictions we examined today are clear. They're not vague. They predict very specific things for people in UX and their work tasks. Concrete things where we can know if they're happening or not. We can look at our own experiences, our friends' experiences, stories people tell on LinkedIn, social media, and in online communities. Ask the people making these claims critical thinking questions. Challenge them. What's your evidence for that? What if this isn't true and UX continues to be deprioritized or automated? What are the important next actions each of us needs to take? Make sure you know exactly what the author or speaker suggests that you do. Don't fall for generic suggestions like learn AI and be more strategic. It's hard to take the right actions on vague advice. We'll know in the short terms if these claims are coming true. Are you more strategic, strategizing AI early, fixing it later, a valued partner, or a pixel pusher? More empowered, understood, appreciated, seeing more open and real UX jobs, getting higher pay? Keep asking yourself, will my current career or this evolved new version carry me until I can collect retirement or my pension? If there is any chance that the answer is no, then we should be planning new career paths and work areas outside of tech. Even if you don't take action yet, be smart and plan early. Have a plan. If tech seems to be done with you before you feel done with tech, you will want a plan you can immediately act on. Don't wait until you're more burned out, more desperate, or draining your savings account. So what should we do? Separate hope from evidence. The evidence strongly suggests that AI won't create a resurgence. It will accelerate the challenges we already face. Consider developing multiple income streams rather than relying solely on tech roles. Build skills outside the tech ecosystem that match your core personal qualities, the traits that make you who you are. Focus on what your world might pay for when money is tight, like recession-resistant skills and services that remain in demand. More importantly, take charge of your personal narrative. Your value isn't determined by your job title or the industry you work in. You are the phoenix, and you write your own story. I recommend my book, Life After Tech, but you don't have to use it. You just have to plan and take action. You have to be ready for the potential that there will be more layoffs, fewer UX jobs, or that our work will evolve in ways that exclude us. Your plan needs to go beyond, I'm a UX researcher, so maybe I'll try marketing research. Or, I'm a UX designer, so maybe I'll try to get a product management job. Tech jobs in general are in trouble. I cut a whole bunch of slides from other areas of tech saying they're being cannibalized by AI. We're already seeing AI tools gleefully trying to replace product management, research, engineering, and other roles and tasks. My Life After Tech book has frameworks and 18 exercises for introspection and lots of brainstorming outside of the usual, what can I do with the skills I already have, and what's an easy lateral move. We also have a free Discord community with nearly 600 people. They're staying in tech, they're leaving tech, they're working in tech jobs, they're looking for what's next, and they're dealing with the emotional highs and lows of all of this. My community is there to support you, and it's completely free. Wherever you are on life's and work's paths, you can find our Discord, my coaching, the book, and other resources on lifeaftertech.info. Aw, Deb is plugging her book. Yeah, you'll have to forgive me, but my book is extremely relevant to nearly everybody on the planet right now. It's $18, and even if you don't like it, you will have spent way less than you will have spent on predatortech.info. Aw, Deb is plugging her book. Yeah, you'll have to forgive me, but my book is extremely relevant to nearly everybody on the planet right now. It's $18, and even sales pitch. Use your critical thinking. The blipping should have stopped. Ask tough questions. Vulnerable. Feel free to say no. Sales pitch. Thinking. Of body. Predicting that AI will significantly reduce or eliminate jobs in the next handful of years. If you're done with tech, or tech is done with you, be ready with a plan for what's next. Better to have a plan when you need it than to delay planning and then try to plan once you feel upset, angry, or desperate. Let's be ahead of the curve and start planning now. Okay, that is my presentation, which has like 40 slides I didn't do. And I'm just going to see if anybody has questions. Did anybody put any questions into Menti? I don't want to miss them. I'm going to go take a look and flip to that screen. It says no questions from the audience. Does anybody want to put questions into Menti or here in the chat? Any questions, comments, challenges? I welcome all of these. Let's see what's going on LinkedIn. See if anybody has questions, comments. Oop, that's the sound of me. That's the sound of me checking all of you. Yes, I'm not seeing questions in Menti. Did anybody put any in? I will go and refresh that. Oop, another blip. Sorry about that. People seeing me now? Sorry about the blip. Darkseed33 says, thank you for nudging me to really consider moving out of tech. In 14 years of UX, I've been laid off 4 times. I am so sorry about that. I think nearly all of us have either been laid off, gone a very long period where we could not find a job, had a contract end, had an offered job taken away. I think almost all of us have been through that at this point, and I don't expect it to get better. Any thoughts or questions? Anybody want to challenge me? Anybody want to disagree? I'm open to hearing whatever people have to say. I know that there's what we want to hear versus what I think is real. And again, you don't have to quit your job. You don't have to leave tech, but have a plan. Have a plan of what you might do, and that plan might evolve. You might change your mind. You might find different things. Something might work, something else doesn't work. You keep trying. But we're going to have to be flexible and redefine ourselves, because too many people out there are predicting that most of our jobs will be gone in 1 to 10 years. How many people saw the article that Bill Gates said that he believes within 10 years, most people will only have 2 days of work per week? What he's really saying is there's only work for 20% of us. 20% employment? Because I don't think we'd all have jobs and just work part-time. Chances are companies would just hire a lot fewer of us. There's too many people predicting too much ugly stuff. Again, I want to make sure we've got some extra time. We've got 12 more minutes. I want to make sure that if people have questions, concerns, challenges, that we're addressing them. I don't see any questions in Menti. You're welcome to put them there, or you're welcome to put them in the chat. maybe everybody is just in stunned, painful silence. Certainly, I'm hurting from all of this too. It's not like I'm winning and making $1 squillion a week and everyone else is suffering and let you all eat cake. I'm right there with everybody else. Any other thoughts or questions? Otherwise, we can look at starting to wind down. I'll give it a minute in case anybody is typing something and I don't know it. I always want to say, if you're typing, please type something so I know to wait for you. But, you know, unfortunately in live streams, you don't know if people are typing something in the chat. Well, we don't know. So unless people are adding anything else to the conversation, I really hope people will share this out. I think it's something important that we need to think about and talk more about and keep watching. Watch for where it gets better. Watch for where it stays the same. Watch for where it gets worse. But again, my main message to everybody is no matter how you create a plan, have a plan that isn't just, oh, I'm a researcher, I'll do marketing. Marketing's in trouble too. Dewey says, if other attendees are like me, they won't challenge. We're sitting in the middle of the bell curve. It all depends. Right. And again, I'm not telling everybody run out and quit your job right now. If you have a job, great. Keep it as long as you can. You're lucky. If you get laid off or you lose that job or you try to get a different job and you see it's difficult, then you'll notice things are changing. To me, the middle of the bell curve are the people struggling. I think the ends of the bell curve are the people who actually have jobs and have good jobs, but you know, that's different perspectives. Srinu says, if no job, no money. Paula says, it's a lot to digest, pretty sobering, but perhaps a reality check too. Yeah, my aim was to be pretty sobering. I knew it was going to be some tough love. And again, I don't have all the answers. Dewey says, I'm seeing evidence both ways. I'm seeing claims both ways, but I'm not seeing evidence. I'm not seeing evidence that UX is becoming more in demand, more appreciated, more strategic, and that where UX is working on AI, I'm not seeing that UX is necessarily fixing it. People are still very much order takers, very often from product managers. So when I would love to see the evidence that AI will cause a resurgence in UX and tech jobs, because I don't see that evidence. I'm looking for it. I've spent months writing this. I'm not finding it. I see claims, but I'm not seeing evidence. Or I see one cherry-picked story of one person who's working in one company on an AI thing, and wasn't it great that they worked on that? But there's so much we don't know about that. We don't know how autonomous they were. We don't know how empowered they were, or we don't know if they're working on AI and someone told them, make this thing. Cherish says, it makes me wonder what work will be available that AI won't take and how many of us will be competing for those jobs. Yes, and that's why I'm trying to get people to plan early. Because let's say that, as I said early in the talk, if we're not in trouble, and if the evidence points to UX having a resurgence, we're all going to get our jobs back, our salaries are going to go up, we all have a career until unemployment, there's nothing for us to do. That's already, that would just be a continuation of the careers that we had. But if we're all going to start fighting for non-tech jobs, which I believe is the future, then people getting in earlier will be at an advantage, like anything else. Dewey says, I agree. The middle of the bell curve is struggle, but can't work out which way it'll swing. Evidence was the wrong word. Okay. And that's totally fine. This is a conversation. Amy says, maybe we should all study ethics and how universal basic income works. I'm seeing that as well. So when I did my research, or if I see LinkedIn, a lot of people are saying universal basic income. But when I question that, I'm still not finding good information, because the question is, who would pay that? Traditionally, the idea is that a government would pay universal basic income. Hands up, anybody in America right now believe that the government will pay universal basic income? And hypothetically, the government would have to have money from what to be able to pay people universal basic income. Where would they get that money? Is it from personal taxes? Is it corporate taxes? Is it, I'm not an economist. I'm not an expert on this. I only know that I have more questions than answers. When people say, oh, universal basic income, there's 350 people in America? And they need how much money to live per month? How does that math work? Where are we getting that money? If people don't have jobs and aren't paying into the government with their tax money, where does that money come from? So I think universal basic income is an interesting model for wealthy countries with smaller populations, but I don't understand how countries with not small populations would be able to pay for universal basic income. I've actually seen a couple of people on LinkedIn suggest that universal basic income will come from the corporations that used to employ us. Our universal basic income would come from FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Meta, Netflix, Google, and the like. Why? Why would they pay us to exist? I don't get it. Dewey says money from tariffs. Dewey, you're going to have to explain that because I'm concerned that you don't fully understand tariffs. Definitely ask Claude AI about tariffs. Amy says it's smart to plan for the worst. Exactly. And Marjolaine says, where would all the money come from? Yeah, that's all I can suggest to people is have some plans for the worst. We have insurance in case terrible things happen. Some of us have earthquake kits or go bags or hurricane kits for in case the worst happens. We have flashlights and candles and emergency food. We are often prepared for bad things to happen, and we're so happy when we were ready for those. When we're not ready for those, we kick ourselves. Yeah, Darksea says, like Fang would give up a dime for us. I agree. Melanie says the U.S. government will never pay universal basic income. It would have to come from billionaires, and there will be a price for that. Yeah, and again, it wouldn't necessarily come from tariffs, because where do tariffs are funky. I'm not an economist. Being cute. Yeah, Dewey, you might be cute. I can't see you from here, but a lot of the things that we're being told and promised right now could be partially true. Tariffs could bring a government money, but then they also raise prices of goods that people pay for because of the higher tariffs on raw materials or higher tariffs on the goods themselves. Tariffs, there could be taxes on services. I saw Arizona has a new tax that is 10.75%, and they gave it some weird name like, not convenience, but it was some word like convenience, and I was like, doesn't feel convenient. So I think the problem with things like tariffs and universal basic income is, once again, we're putting the control outside of ourselves. We're saying someone else will save us. The government will save us. The billionaires will save us. The big corporations will save us. And could that happen? It could. But I think it's unlikely. I don't think that the evidence points in the direction of humans in general being saved by these things or people or entities or governments. We have to take a look at how we are going to save ourselves, and how are we going to trade with each other? How can we buy things from each other? Will we trust banks in the future? I don't even know. How are we going to do business with each other and keep each other going? I think about what some of you do. For example, who wouldn't want to learn about gardening from Cherish? Why not? Maybe Cherish charges something for that. Cherish wants $40 for you to learn gardening from her. Cool. Pay her. I would like to offer you life coaching for X an hour. I don't know, 40, 50, whatever it ends up being. Would you like some life coaching? Pay me. I believe the future is community-based commerce, where we're all going to do business with each other because we're all going to want to support each other. whether those are goods or services. And the money's just going to keep moving around the community. That's my guess, but I'm not an expert on economics or societies or anthropology or any of this. That's just my guess. All right, we're just about out of time. I was originally going to end at around 7:20 p.m. my time. It is coming up on 7:20 p.m. my time. So I will try to stream. I think I'm here tomorrow for Ask Me Anything. Hopefully my internet will be okay. Thank you for the people who've been patient with a couple of blips today and my early my sound difficulty problem. I'll go put a note in the YouTube description to skip the first 4 minutes. Thanks everybody. Keep the comments coming. Leave comments in YouTube. Join the Discord community. Keep the conversation going. We want to support you whether or not you work in tech, whether you stay in tech, whether you love tech, whether you work in it, you hate it, you love it. Doesn't matter. We're not judging anybody in our Discord community. We just want to see you surviving and thriving and improving. Shrinu says, in a world where tech companies ship more products faster, but without UX designers, researchers, or product designers, are we really moving forward or just accelerating toward failure? If UX isn't embedded in the process, can speed make up for the lack of strategy, empathy, usability, and ethics? Well, I've done many YouTube shows on that topic, so hello, cousin. I certainly agree with you. But ultimately, these are corporate decisions to make. If corporations love the profits they're making, then they might say things are good enough. What are we seeing now? Thank you, Paula. What does the evidence say? Does the evidence say that if UX isn't embedded in the process, we'll fail? I think a lot of companies think UX is optional or UX is order takers. Are we seeing now that speed makes up for a lack of strategy, empathy, usability, and ethics? Yeah, I think we are seeing that. Do we agree with it as UX practitioners or CX people or product people? No, we probably don't like it, but we're probably seeing it. We're probably seeing this as the reality. So again, this is where I want to separate the desire and the wish and the preference from the reality. I agree with Shrinu, and I think that UX should be embedded in the processes. I believe we should all have jobs for life. I believe strategy matters, empathy matters, usability matters, and ethics matter. But is that what we're seeing from companies right now? Is that what we're seeing from product-first companies? Is that what we're seeing from AI-first companies? We must go by what we're seeing and what the evidence shows versus, well, this might not be good. This could just mean failure. Who cares? AI will crash the plane, we'll buy insurance, we'll try again, and we'll send customers an apology and a $10 coupon. That's where I am with this. I'm going to keep trying to work in tech. I'm going to keep trying to do my tech stuff. I'm not walking away yet. I'm going to have the longest career I can until I can't. But I don't have hope. I don't think this will take me to retirement. I'm 53. The earliest I can collect Social Security as an American, if Social Security still exists and is there for me, would be age 62. I would have to keep going for 9 years. Is that likely? Claude tells me that AI is likely to take some, most, or all of my job in 3 to 5 years. Other places are saying 5. Some people are saying 1. Bill Gates is saying within 10 because he probably doesn't want to scare us. So I can only say keep looking at reality, keep looking at the evidence, separate what should happen and what we wish would happen from what is happening and what's likely to happen. And please start planning. And if we can help, join the community. If you think my book can help, give it a try. But be careful of all the predatory stuff out there trying to make it sound like you'll do this to yourself, you'll lose your own job, you weren't curious enough about AI, you didn't bring enough AI into your workplace, AI didn't save your life. This isn't a religion. I like Claude. I'm paying for Claude. I use Claude nearly daily. Claude helps me with lots of things, probably more on the personal side than on the work side. I like Claude. I would continue living if I didn't have Claude, but Claude is making certain things better. but not because it's thinking for me, but because it's thinking with me. And the problem is, I think too many AI companies and tools want to have AI think for us and instead of us, and imagine they don't need us. And on that unfortunate vibe, I will play our closing music, which unfortunately is a little sad, but I think it reflects how some of us feel. It's the sobering sadness, and a certain person wouldn't know how to care for it. Yeah, we had in our Discord community the other day that some quote from Sam Altman about how he doesn't know how people can care for babies without ChatGPT. Well, somehow they did for at least 100. How old are humans? Billions of years old? Australopithecus? Anybody? So anyway, yeah. I'm out of here. Thanks to everybody who joined me or is watching this later, and I look forward to hearing your comments, questions, challenges, and anything that I can do for you. Remember, lifeaftertech.info. All of the resources are on the resources page. Thanks, everybody, and good luck to all of us. Thanks.